You may have noticed a flag flying over the entrance to our sanctuary. Most of us probably refer to it as a rainbow flag. It's also called the Inclusive Progress Pride flag because in addition to the traditional rainbow colors, it also includes white, pink, and blue stripes to represent the trans community, and a purple circle on a field of yellow to celebrate the intersex community, and black and brown stripes to represent LGBTQIA+ communities of color and the intersectional oppressions they face, to remind us to celebrate intersectional identities and the intertwined liberations that we fight for. This flag symbolizes our congregation's support for the LGBTQIA+ community and our ongoing commitment to becoming a welcoming congregation. I say becoming because showing up as a welcoming congregation is more than the unanimous congregational vote that we celebrated in 2012 in support of the official welcoming designation. Because as important as these events are, showing up as a welcoming congregation is more than attending a Trans 101 or Trans 202 workshop or lighting a candle at a Transgender Day of Remembrance ceremony, all of which we've hosted here in our sanctuary. It's more than co-hosting an online documentary film event on intersex identities during COVID, no less, although we've done that too, and it was powerful. Showing up as a welcoming congregation is more than marching in every Pride parade and celebrating at every Pride festival in the park. It's more than inviting the Rainbow Youth Center to use Bowman Hall for their overnight lock-ins, although that was super appreciated and super fun. All of the workshops and ceremonies and marches are important. Don't get me wrong. They are vital, I would say even more important now than ever, and we need to keep doing them. But if those events are not matched by our individual and collective willingness to learn and grow and change, if they are not matched by our individual and collective concerted effort to step outside our comfort zones and risk making mistakes, then was it just a box that we checked in 2012? Is it just a flag? A self-congratulatory pat on the back that doesn't lead to much actual progress? I can ask that question, but I can't answer it for you. I can tell you that welcoming is an ongoing practice. It requires an ongoing commitment. It requires us to get uncomfortable because that's how we learn. The question I ask myself and all of you, where is my growing edge? Where is your growing edge? We humans, we don't learn without getting uncomfortable. We sure as hell don't change oppressive systems without getting uncomfortable. And if the results of this week's elections don't make you uncomfortable, I don't know what would. I am deeply uncomfortable. I am sitting in the messy, messy space of my unearned privilege, my white, middle-class, cisgender privilege with self-doubt and sadness and rage and seriously reevaluating my social justice efforts. We have a beautiful foundation to build on. Our congregation became an official welcoming congregation with the UUA in 2012. Our congregation's LGBTQIA+ social justice team began in 2015, led by Bonnie Miller and now Robert Bridges, with longstanding stalwart members, myself, Susan Kuntz, Don Spangler, and Jim Brook. We engaged in another rigorous process to renew our certification as a welcoming congregation in 2019. The workshop after today's service is our team's latest offering to the congregation, an opportunity for all of us to learn, myself included, for all of us to learn together, to ask questions, especially those questions we might be embarrassed to ask, and to connect with each other so we can move forward with this core liberation work, this core work of our faith. That flag that hangs above our front doors, it was recently banned by the Durango School District, along with the Black Lives Matter flag. You may have written a letter, as I did, to the school board and the superintendent, asking the ban to be reversed. You may have heard that the school board suspended the ban in response to support from the community for LGBTQIA+ students and students of color, and in response to a walkout by the students themselves. But did you know that the board is still deciding whether to reverse the ban permanently or reinstate it? Did you know that the board is receiving a tremendous amount of hate mail from people in the community who don't want to see these flags in the schools? Did you know that 20% of high school students in Colorado identify their sexual orientation as not straight? They instead identify as gay or lesbian or bisexual or pansexual or asexual or some other identity. This is the survey I work on. It's according to the 2023 Healthy Kids Colorado survey with a random sample of 50,000 students across our state. 20% identify as not straight. So now is the time to write more letters and show up to more school board meetings to demonstrate our support for displaying these flags because they are powerful symbols of pride and celebration in our schools. That flag that hangs above our front doors. Did you know it was vandalized and stolen? Yep, twice in October of 2021. Our congregation's LGBTQIA+ social justice team responded with love and protection. We called the police and reported a possible repeated hate crime. We wrote a letter to the editor. We wrote a letter to the neighbors, and then Bonnie Miller and I visited each neighbor who has a line of sight to our campus to share the letter and talk with them about the incidents and ask for their support in continuing to create a welcoming space for the LGBTQIA+ community on our campus. The neighbors we spoke with were wonderfully supportive. And then we hosted a rainbow flag giveaway party. Many of you joined us. We set up on the corner with music, donuts, and dozens of rainbow flags. We advertised it to the wider community, and people stopped by on their bikes or while walking their dog or when driving by on their Saturday morning errands. Basically said, you're going to steal our rainbow flag more than once, we'll give out 150 more with donuts while dancing. We will build an even higher, stronger standard to hold an even bigger rainbow flag. So we hope you'll join our team after the service today for the Going Over the Rainbow workshop. Wherever you are on your social justice journey, whether you're just beginning, tired after decades of fighting, or somewhere, anywhere in between, whether you're not sure what all those LGBTQIA+ letters mean and maybe you stumble trying to say them, that's okay. We can practice, we can stumble together. Or maybe you think using they, them pronouns is grammatically incorrect or awkward to use in conversation. Join us because we can practice together. It's okay to let go of rigid grammar rules in favor of honoring someone's identity, someone's heartfelt, brave request to be seen and honored for who they truly are. And if you're still attached to the false binary of gender, and let's be real, all of us are to some degree because it's deeply ingrained in our dominant society. I invite you to show up and ask questions and take a deep breath and try letting it go. Gender is so much more expansive than either or. For all of us, our beautiful, intersectional, multi-layered, complex, and ordinary identities are so much more expansive than we typically acknowledge. This is a place where we get to celebrate all of who we are. This is a place where we get to learn and grow and be uncomfortable together.
We are renewing our commitment. I do want to share these words with you that were shared by Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, the president of our association. In her post-election message to Unitarian Universalists this week, she reminded us that we are a sanctuary people, places of refuge, safety, and support. She shares in her message, quote, "These are times that will be defined by the continued and increased need for organizing and a faithful commitment to mutual aid. This is the time to hear the call of our faith and to meet the moment with courage, drawing from the strength of our history, and as always, centering and answering the call of love."